Everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. It is Sunday evening, time for Sunday night live chat. We'll give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications, and we'll get rolling here shortly. So, we are on Facebook and YouTube as usual. Bill's here. Well, that came through, Bill. Your comment did come through that time, so maybe you're working. Bill said he's been having issues with getting his comments to come through, but that one came through, Bill, so maybe you got something going. Brandon's on with us on YouTube. Facebook, we are live. Got a few people jumping on there. No comments as of yet, but as of now, I am on fiber internet. Woohoo! So we'll see if that helps anything. They said I do need to get a new router to maximize the speed that I now have, but we'll see what we'll try it tonight, and hopefully by next week I'll have a new router and we'll see what we've really got. Rick's on in North Carolina on Facebook, so Facebook is actually still giving me error messages already, so we'll see how this thing goes. But we are running on fiber now. So Alan NC's here, Chris is here, Joe's here. That one came through again, Bill, so maybe it is working. Maybe it's just giving you a bad message. Kim's here, Dan's here, Kevin's here. Great crowd jumping on YouTube right out of the gate. And we'll see how Facebook does tonight. So, like I said, it's been giving us fits for the last several months. Still giving me error messages. Lee is on Facebook tonight, so we'll see if that works for you guys better. There, Vic's on from Iowa. Glad Vic made it. Big Job's on YouTube, so a lot of our regulars back. Glad you guys made it. Hopefully the feed works tonight. Hopefully we see some improvement with this fiber internet. But that remains to be seen. Like I said, Facebook's already giving me error messages, but we're going to run it tonight and go from there. And then I'm going to try to have a new router by next week and see if that improves us even more. So you guys that are on Facebook with us, if you can keep me posted as to how things are ticking along over there, hopefully it is working better, even though I am still getting error messages. And we'll see what happens and see if this thing's going to hang in there with us. So they told me I went from like 15 meg to like 100 meg on my feed is what the installers told me. So obviously, hopefully we should be seeing a difference. If not, I don't know what to say. So Jerry from New Mexico's on. Steven from Vermont's on. So glad you guys made it. Hopefully that Facebook keeps hanging in there. Dirty Nick says the feed looks good from Texas, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed. BW's Garage is here as well. Drew, need a bed floor for a 78 Ford truck. There again, depends on which bed it is, but typically I won't cut a bed floor out. I just sell the whole beds. Cement Surfer's on. Kevin made it back. Lots of people jumping on Facebook too. John's on. My good friend Mike is on. Good thing Mike's on with us. Mike, good friend of mine, local guy. We gotta keep our fingers crossed that Mike's going to help us out because the loader is actually at Mike's shop right now. Mike works at Murphy Truck Repair, and he's one of those guys that can fix just about anything. Works on a lot of big trucks, does a lot of custom truck work. I think he can fix about any sort of diesel engine out there. So we got to keep our fingers crossed that Mike takes good care of us with the loader because I need my loader to move cars. It's a little tough to move cars without a loader. So glad Mike's on with us tonight, and keep our fingers crossed that he doesn't find anything too catastrophically wrong with the loader this week. So let's see. All right, looks like I'm getting caught up on comments for the time being. As always, I'll try to keep an eye peeled on both of them. Long bed with dual tanks. I've got some long beds, like I said, I won't cut a floor out of them. I've got some fixable stuff that needs some work on the bed sides, but I won't cut a floor out of them. Kevin, is it a Caterpillar loader? No, it's actually a Fiat Alice FR12, like a mid to late 80s era machine is what I use. So, like I said, it's still running and everything, but it's got some issues. The crank's actually going to have to come out of it. So hopefully it's fixable. But that's what we're up against. In a nutshell, the end of the crank where the balancer and the pulleys bolt on, there's a coupler there that goes right on the end of the snout of the crank, and that coupler came loose and damaged the threads on the end of the crank. So crank's got to come out, go to the machine shop. Hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, they can clean up that end of the crank where that hub bolts on, where it's coned for the hub and the keyway and the threads. If they can get that cleaned up and bolt it all back together, and hopefully should be good to go. But like I said, engine's got to come out, crank's got to come out of the engine, so it's going to take some time. So, but Mike and Jim and the rest of the crew at Murphy Truck, I know they're going to hopefully get her fixed up, and hopefully it's not anything any worse than what I think it's going to be, because it isn't going to be great. So, let's see. Eloy made it. Chopper One's back. Chopper One hadn't been here in a while. Kevin used to work for Cat. So Don from Tennessee's on. Glad you made it, Don. So anyway, that was part of my interesting week, was have to get the loader moved in and get it worked on. But so I can't move the cars around very well, but I'm still trying to get a lot of stuff ready for winter. As of right now. Scott's on as well. Great group jumping on tonight. Glad you guys all made it. Brandon builds radiators for 992 wheel loaders. I bet that's a little bigger radiator than most of us are used to dealing with. But that sounds like a pretty interesting job, because that's probably quite a bit. That's quite a bit of radiator, I bet. But anyway, what's been happening? Obviously, the fiber's in. Like I said, I'm going to try to get a new router this week, see if that helps even more, because I have not been live on Facebook until tonight, because I just did it 3 or 4 days ago. And like I said, I'm already getting error messages. So that did get done this week. Charles, can Mike turn the big truck up so it throws fire out the stack? I don't know. I know he does a lot of custom work as far as, stretching trucks and custom touches and custom paint and custom chrome and bumpers and things like that. But I would imagine, for what he knows about diesel engines, he could probably do that too. Scott will be out this way next Sunday. So after another Mustang, so we'll have 24 Mustangs. I don't even think I've got that many Mustangs. Let's see. Brandon says the radiator, I assume this is the radiator on what he works on, is 9 foot tall, 6 foot wide, and 4.5 foot long. That's a lot of radiator. Wow, that's a lot of radiator. So anyway, we got the loader in. It's at Murphy Shop. We'll see if those guys can get on it and hopefully get us some answers and get that thing fixed. A little bit of follow-up from last week. The Kotwitz Motors race car that we saw in last week's magazine. Real quick, I'll show it to you one more time. This dragster that we looked at last week that I didn't even know about literally until I opened this magazine last week and saw the writing right here on the front of this dragster that says Kotwitz Motor Company, Great Bend, Kansas. Did not know this car existed. Like I told you last week, my dad actually worked at Kotwitz. It was a Pontiac dealer. When he first got out of high school and was going to school at JUCO, he worked at Kotwitz. He actually still knows some of the Kotwitz family. He did get a hold of one of them this week, and they do remember the car. They actually provided engines for it, is what they did to help sponsor it. He couldn't recall any other pictures or any other info that he particularly had, but he was going to check with some more of the family and see if anybody else remembered anything about it, remembered or had any other pictures or had any other information about it. So you never know. May not be anything, but maybe we'll get some more information on the Kotwitz Dragster in coming weeks. So, but it was cool that my dad actually did get a hold of one of the Kotwitz that he still knows, and they were familiar with it. They remember the situation. They said they sponsored the car, only sponsored it for 2 or 3 years, but they gave them the Pontiac engines that they were running, which is why it was in that magazine, because it was Pontiac powered. So Miguel in Texas is on with us. Lots of comments popping up on YouTube. Let me get to these before we get too far behind. Kim likes the sign lit up. Yeah, I still love that thing. I don't know why. When I seen that at the Hutch swap meet, I just kind of fell in love with it. And yeah, I was pretty excited about it. So thought we'd show it off tonight, light it up. But great piece. Like we looked at it on Toy Tuesday. It's got a little wear over there. But I was just so excited about that sign when I found it that I just had to have it. So let's see. Kevin says, that is a huge loader. That's got to be a huge loader with a radiator like that. Chopper One says, hit the like button. Thanks, Chopper One. Appreciate that. See, Scott, do we have any swap meets coming up? Nothing until Wichita in March in this area that I know of. I did text John with the Wichita swap meet a few weeks ago, and everything is still a go as of this point, since they did have to pull the plug last year, but everything is a go as of at this point for the Wichita swap meet at Century 2. I believe those dates are March. I would have to look that up, but that's the only thing I know of, Scott. So Randy says hit the likes as well. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support there. Let's see. I know I'm missing some of these. We got lots of stuff scrolling up here. James is back with us. Glad you made it back. Brandon. Okay. I guess the machine that Brandon works on is 220,000 pounds. And the radiators that he built, the cooling systems for the radiators that he builds hold 77 gallons of coolant. Gallons. Not like 2.5 gallons like a car. 77 gallons. So that's a big machine with a lot of radiator. And there's a lot of comments that are agreeing how big that machine's got to be. Cement Surfer can use a roof for a 67 Mustang coupe. I've got a 68 coupe. I don't remember if it's got a good roof on it or not. It'll be the only possibility that I might have. It depends on where you're located at, if you're close enough to get it, or if it had to be shipped, because it'd have to be palletized and shipped trucks. So John in Waco, Texas is on. Glad you made it. Yeah, that's right, James. That does move some earth. That's got to be a beast. So anyway, Vic's on with us on Facebook. Just asked if the package arrived, and yes, it did just get here. I don't know, yesterday or day before. I just got it though. I do appreciate that, Vic. If you were on here a couple weeks ago with us, Vic said he had a Carter carburetor display that he wanted to sell, and so we worked out a deal. It is here. I have not unboxed it, so we'll do that. How about we do that on Toy Tuesday, Vic? How's that sound? We'll crack that thing open on Toy Tuesday and take a look at it. So, like I said, I haven't even looked at it. It just got here. I sat it in the corner, and seen your name was on it, so I knew I had it. And the box still looks good, so doesn't look like they ran over it or anything. So I do appreciate you getting that out to me. Can't wait to see it. We'll get it out for Toy Tuesday and share it with everybody. So let's see. Joe says Facebook still wasn't working, so he is over on YouTube as well now. So appreciate that. We'll see. Like I said, it's still giving me error messages. I just hope it's working. So Vic says it is good on his end. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get a new router. I just ran out of time to get to that this week, and by next week should have a new router. Maybe we can crank that speed up even more and see if that helps. So anyway. David, vacationing in the Dominican Republic and hanging out with us, warmer than being in Montreal. I'm sure the Dominican Republic is much better than Montreal right now. Glad you still took time out of your vacation to jump on with us, though. So, anyway, what else is going on? Oh, Mecum, Kansas City, 2 weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from yesterday. So, 77 to 79 Cougar LTD, 2 are Thunderbirds. I've got one Thunderbird, Scientist Hay Farmer. I've got one Thunderbird in that area, in that era, no Cougars, and no LTD2s. I think just that one Thunderbird. I've got some parts off some Cougars, but only one car. That's that Thunderbird. Scott says Facebook's still ticking along fine in PA, so that's good news. But getting things ready for Mecum, Kansas City. Hope to see some of you there. Rico and Jess will be there, I'm sure. So any of you guys that are close to Kansas City, if you're going to be at Mecum, be sure to let me know. Be sure to look me up and say, hey. We are planning on going for the duration. We should be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Looks like it's going to be a heck of a sale. I looked the other day. As of right now, they have 571 cars listed. Their target for Kansas City was 700, and I'm betting they're going to hit that with a week and a half before they're ready to go. They're almost 600 now, and a lot of that stuff comes in the last week or 10 days. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be at that 700 mark. Old School made it tonight. Glad you're here. BW memorabilia. I don't see any memorabilia on the Kansas City sale at this point. So Charles, ADC-10 sliding back glass. I think I do have one or two of those cabs or trucks that have sliding back windows in it. If you want to give me a shout on that, I can double check that and see. But looking forward to that. It's always a good time. We've got a big group going the way it's looking. It's always a great time. You get to see a ton of cool cars. Like I said, there's a big group of us going. I don't know, probably at least 10 or 15 guys going to be heading to the auction every morning. And looking forward to seeing what they're going to have there and how the sale is going to go. Scott from Texas is on with us on Facebook. Max, do I have any 71 international pickups? Believe it or not, Max, that is almost too new for me, an international pickup. As crazy as that sounds, I don't have any of those. Don't have any of that body style. It's literally, I've got a 79 Scout 2, and everything else I've got in international is early 60s on back. So as crazy as that sounds, 71's too new for my international inventory. But like I said, hopefully some of you guys are going to make Meekum KC. If you do, be sure to look me up. Be sure to say hey, and always have a great time there. So we've got a big group that hangs out together. We see a lot of friends there every year. Terry's on with us. Glad you made it. Scott says there's a guy in Tonganoxie, Kansas that has a bunch of international stuff too. I'm not sure who that is. Randy made it. Glad you're here. But definitely looking forward to that. Trying to get a lot of loose ends tied up here this week so we can be ready to go because we will be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a good little getaway. Like I said, there's a big group of us that goes. Hang out with a lot of friends, have a lot of good times. You know, hang around the hotel at night, relax, drink a few beers, eat some good food. Never really a bad time. So hopefully we'll get to see some of you there. If you're anywhere close or thinking about it, be sure to put it on your calendar. Maybe you can make it and hang out and say hi. So, Kevin, the International Scout video was cool yesterday. Yeah, I was actually pretty excited to get that thing in. I don't have any Scout. I've only got one other Scout, and that's that 79, which is obviously a completely different truck. So when I picked up that little early 60s one, I was pretty excited about that. In fact, somebody made a comment somewhere, I don't know where, that was like 62 to 66 with the fold down windshield or something like that. So somewhere in that window. But that's right, Kevin. It even has the gun racks in it. That was I thought that was kind of a nice touch. You know, when we were doing the video, checking it out, it still had gun racks in the window. You know, that used to be such a common thing. You know, they were everywhere. You know, you didn't hardly see a pickup that didn't have those racks in the back window to hold a gun. You know, definitely a thing of the past. So still cool to see one when you get something in that still has them mounted in it. And speaking of old school retro accessories, got another video coming up on a pickup. Should get it up this week with Yosemite Sam back off mud flaps. So you'll definitely want to catch that. I was excited about that. I didn't even know they were on the truck because the truck was like buried back, was backed into some trees. So I didn't even realize they were there until we got it pulled out of the trees and saw the Yosemite Sam mud flaps. So as dumb as it sounds, I was kind of excited about that too. So that video's coming up. You don't want to miss it either. Big Job says, buy a 75 Ford truck. There you go and build a big boy pickup. Number one's on with us tonight. Glad you made it, number one. So anyway, that's what's been going on in my week, and that's what I'm getting ready for. Who's ready to do a badge? We've got kind of a different badge tonight, something kind of cool. Only one I've ever seen available. I think I've seen them on a few vehicles in museums, but this is the only one that I've ever seen that was available just to buy as a badge. Marn Designs is here with us. Glad you made it. Marn, is it Marn, ma'am? Can't tell if it's an RN or an M or something, but you're with us. You're hanging out with us. That's all that matters. So anyway, how about a badge? Let's check out a badge tonight before we get into a magazine. Jason's on with us. Glad Jason's here. Another one of our regulars made it back. Hopefully everything's still ticking along with Facebook. Have not gotten any comments there in a couple of minutes. So if you have commented on Facebook, it's not feeding me right now. Tonight's badge, obviously in today's world, electric cars are becoming more and more of a thing every day. Obviously, you know, Tesla's been around for a while, getting a footprint. The Rivian IPO here, was it this week or last week? A week and a half ago, the Rivian IPO. You know, so I mean, it's becoming a pretty big deal. Except for my Rivian order didn't go through. I wasn't real happy about that. So I actually put an order in to buy a little bit of Rivian, and it didn't go. So that didn't work out very well for me. But obviously, electric cars are becoming more and more common all the time, and that's the nature of the beast. Is it coming as fast as they are trying to push it down our throats? I'm going to be very surprised if it does come that fast, but it is coming to a certain extent. There's no doubt about it. So old school just says no, not electric, period. BW's Garage says, you see what they did to Project X? Yeah, I actually knew that was coming. I heard about that a couple weeks before it was announced from some of my connections at Hot Rod. So yeah, I knew. I had wind that was coming before. So when it was announced, it was wasn't a huge surprise. But old school says he doesn't even have an electric toaster. So so anyway, Mine Designs is Jermaine. He called about some parts for 48 Pontiac Hood. Yeah, I remember when you called. Yep, glad you made it back. Glad you made it to hang out with us tonight. Yep, I do remember talking to you. Big Job says he wouldn't even use an electric razor. So, but the thing about it, you know, with electric vehicles and the push to them, and as we all know, it's coming, is absolutely not new. It's not new at all. Electric vehicles have been around since vehicles have been around, essentially. Okay, Marn Designs has the car home. There's some videos of his 48 Pontiac on his channel, so be sure to check it out. Marn Designs on YouTube. Check out his 48 Pontiac. Nate's on with us. Nate is actually headed to Honda electric vehicle training next week. So, yeah, it's coming. There's no doubt about it. Number one says Project X is cool. It's just an evolution like fuel injection or radial tires or juice brakes, and there's some truth to that as well. And Al agrees with that. But like we've talked about, electric vehicles have been around essentially as long as the vehicles have been around. Number one, imagine a fully electric 32 Model A going 200 mile an hour. And there is some projects in the works of some cars from the 30s that would blow your mind with electric platforms that are being thought up and worked on. So some cool stuff coming. But like I said, literally electric cars have been around as long as cars have been around. And that's what we've got tonight for the badge. And this is an extremely rare piece. This company was in business for 30 years and only made 13,000 cars in 30 years. So not a real common mass-produced vehicle. Marn says his luck he'll get one and forget to charge it. Yeah, I could see that happening too. But like we talked about on there before, you know, my cousin was here in town with a Tesla. He let me drive that, and it was impressive. I mean, I've got to say, it was impressive. My sister just bought a Tesla. So, I mean, they are neat cars. One thing about electric cars, and the same thing, another reason why these cars didn't take off 100 years ago or over 100 years ago, infrastructure isn't there to support them yet. It's coming, but it isn't there yet. Number one, you can pull an electric motor and fix it on the kitchen table. So, but the badge that we've got tonight is for a Detroit Electric. There it is, if you guys can see it. The Detroit Electric car. Detroit, Michigan. This is roughly about a foot long. Chris says Studebaker built electrics before gas. Yeah, and BW's Garage torque monsters. They are torque monsters. When I drove my cousin's Tesla, there is no doubt about that. This is about a foot long, I think. check it. So, yep, right at 12 inches. So it's right at 12 inches long, just to give you a perspective of how long this badge is. However, it is very narrow. It's only about an inch wide. Kevin says, look like one of his rulers. Yeah, I got this at the Kennedy Space Center when I was a little kid, like when I was in 6th grade. We went to Florida. I've had this ruler that long. Number one, anybody see the Tesla owner that had a Honda gas generator in the trunk so he can charge it when he runs out? I didn't, but Chilling with Chet, if you have caught Chilling with Chet's channel on YouTube, he actually took a Tesla on Race Week 2.0 and towed a generator with him. So, but anyway, this is the badge. It is a really cool piece. Like I said, about a foot long, about an inch wide, from a Detroit Electric. The Anderson Electric Car Company over here on the side. You guys, I don't know how well you guys can see all that. The back is just plain. This actually came out of the huge collection where I bought all the badges out of a big estate in Missouri, down around Joplin, where I bought a lot of those super rare badges that we look at, the Indiana motor trucks that we looked at, and some of those really oddballs. This is actually where this one came from. So I did a little bit of research, just Wikipedia'd the Detroit Electric, and the Detroit Electric they said they built 13,000 cars in 32 years. They were in business from 1907 to 1939 is how long they built these cars. So they're, again, well over 100 years. The Anderson Electric Car Company actually was originally the Anderson Carriage Company and went into business in 1884 is when they first started building carriages. And then production of the electric automobile powered by a rechargeable lead-acid battery began in 1907. Now, you could also get, it also says an Edison nickel iron battery was available, but it was a $600 option in 1907. $600. That bought you a whole nother car, like a Model T. So, number one, is that finish called Japanning? I don't know. I think this finish is called really old and been in storage for 80 years. I think that's what it's called. Alan NC, electric cars still need better battery tech and money. And there is a lot of truth to that. There's no doubt about it. The cars were advertised as reliably getting 80 miles to a charge. And top speed was about 20 miles an hour. So they were not the quickest or most efficient vehicle out there, just like we're still running into today. Obviously, huge strides in technology, but still nowhere near where they are going to be. They can do pretty much close to what a gas vehicle can do per tank of fuel. But there again, you can't stop at you can't stop at a charging station, at every interstate exit like you can on with a gas vehicle. Big job. What about locomotives, trains that are touted electric motors? And those are actually, because those are diesel electric. And I think I don't know if the diesel engines run their generators and then they use the electric for the torque. I'm not sure. Don't know a ton about them, but they are diesel and electric on a lot of the new locomotives. Chris, any electric cars that have been stored were brought back out during World War II because of gas rationing. Yeah. Kevin, where was this badge mounted? I think this was like a sill plate type thing, like inside the edge of the door. Maybe, I don't even know if it was on the floor. Now, obviously, it doesn't look, like something that would have gone on the radiator. So I'm thinking this would have been like on the door sill or something is what I'm guessing. But I'm not 100% sure. BW's Garage, they have one of those of the old electric cars that comes to the shows. I think it's 08-ish. Yes, Cameron, it was screwed on these holes, and these are actually, you can tell they're, kind of cut out. So they're the screw them out flush, just go straight through on the back. James, wild cars now only get about 300 on a charge. That was great in 1907. Yeah, that is true. That's one way to look at it. Number one, they built a lot of cars for inside and underground secret infrastructure projects until their tech was obsolete. Well, I never thought about that, but yeah, top secret underground, projects, that would have been perfect for this type of stuff back in the day. Says the Detroit Electric was mainly sold to women drivers and physicians who desired dependable and immediate start without physically demanding hand cranking. Which, you think about it, there again in the early 1900s, everything was crank start. The electric starter didn't even come out until the mid-teens. So yeah, you had to get out there and physically crank that thing. So for women, yes, that would have been tough and a lot of work. Darren's on with us. Glad Darren made it tonight. And something else that the Detroit Electric did was it was the first use of curved window glass in a production automobile, which was pretty expensive to produce at the time. The company production was at its peak in the teens, selling around 1,000 to 2,000 cars per year. In 1920, they dropped Anderson and went strictly to the Detroit Electric Company. So since they dropped Anderson in 1920, and this says Anderson Electric Car on it, I'm going to guess that this is somewhere in the mid-teens, in their heyday where they were producing 1,000 to 2,000 cars a year in, probably 1912, 1914, 1915, 16, somewhere around there. So I'm going to guess this is probably a mid-teens era piece, a little over 100 years old. It is nice and straight. It is in good condition. It could be polished up a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure how much polishing I want to do on it because it is so original. As improved internal combustion automobiles became more common and inexpensive, sales of electrics started to drop in the 20s, and they continued producing Detroit Electrics until after the stock market crash in 29, when the company filed for bankruptcy. They stayed in business on a limited scale throughout the 30s. And that may have been that. And that's another good point. Number one, that they built cars for inside and underground secret infrastructure projects. And that's probably, I'm guessing, what they did in the 30s by producing a small amount of limited production vehicles. And I bet you're right. Number one, that's probably what those small volume orders were for. Until the last Detroit Electric was shipped on February 23rd in 1939. So not a ton of them out there, period. Several of them in museums. Obviously, I mean, I remember I've seen a few of them in museums here and there, but not extremely familiar with them, but definitely a different piece. Kevin says there's a video on YouTube where the guy has a 66 Impala that's electric with 500 horsepower. That's a pretty cool video. And we're going to see more and more and more of that. Just like with Project X, we're going to see more projects like that. Even our friend Doug Prey at the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company has customers that have talked to him about builds with electric powertrains on cars. So it's definitely out there. It's definitely happening and will continue to happen. So number one says, nobody here a Billy Madison fan. I always thought Billy Madison was a pretty funny movie. So big job. In the trucking business is in trucking business in the country, and someone stole all the electric cords off the plugins already. Wait till the thief starts stealing your car cord for scrap. Yeah, that's true too. That's right. BW's Garage GM is offering a hobbyist package, and that is definitely something that is going to continue to happen. Just like the crate packages that we have seen in the past, that is definitely going to continue to happen. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, that was a different piece I thought was pretty cool. Lee from Arkansas is on with us. Cameron's on with us, and he's only 14. I didn't realize you were that young, Cameron. I'm glad you're here with us and hanging out with us and participating in the chat with what we've got going on with a great group of car people. So now that's right. Number one, I actually can see that on the screen. Number one says, does the Chrysler Air Temp sign shimmer or have an effect in it? And actually it does not. But when I can see the feed on my computers, and I can see the shimmer on both of my screens on Facebook and YouTube, but it's actually not in person. It's just a fixed lighted sign. So there's a little bit of an illusion going on there that makes it look like it's got a shimmer, but it does not. So but anyway, with the all the talk about Rivian and everything, thought we'd throw that up there. Kind of a different piece. that and also a piece of history. So Martin says we froze a little bit, so hopefully our YouTube feed is still going. Darren, I saw a listing for a 37 Fiat or 37 Fat Fender Olds one owner barn fresh in Pittsburgh. I did see that pop up, Darren. They were awful strong on the price on it, but yeah, I did see that car pop up somewhere. Let's see. Number one, like, remember those beer signs that looked like a waterfall was rushing or a river flowing? I do remember those. Number one, those were awesome pieces from the 70s. But yes, I do remember that. But I see what you're saying with it looks like the shimmer, like those old beer signs where it looked like they had the effect of the river flowing or the waterfall. Mark, Volkswagen is getting close to releasing an electric retrofit kit for vintage Volkswagens, which would make perfect sense, especially for the way you could drop. I bet they're making a deal. You could drop the old motor out of a bug and slide a new electric one up underneath it. Loch Ness Fox made it tonight. Glad you're here with us. Martin designs a full-size pedal car would be cool. Yeah, you could do that too. So anyway, the Detroit Electric, the Anderson Electric Car Company seemed relevant for what's going on in the world today, of what we're starting to see happen more and more and more. And I thought we'd throw that up there just to kind of look back and realize that, hey, this isn't new. I mean, I know a lot of people hate electric cars. A lot of people are against them. I'm kind of on the fence. There's a lot of benefits to them. However, I do not see the infrastructure coming along quick enough for them to be as common as what everybody's trying to jam down our throats. So I think they're coming. There's no way around it. But this, when we look back at this stuff from well over 100 years ago, this isn't new. It's just a new version that they're trying to still make work. So old concept, old technology with pumping new technology into to try to get rid of the old technology that didn't work 100 years ago. Let's see. BW's Garage brings up another great point. Battery disposal in 5 to 7 years. That's something else I've wondered about that I don't. It makes you wonder what they are or are not thinking about as far as how to handle the batteries. That's for sure. So anyway, who's ready for a magazine? Kevin, well, they have self-driving cars and trucks, and that is true too. That is something that was weird. I did try that. I did do it on my cousin's Tesla. He told me how to set it up, so we set it up, and I took my hands off the wheel and sat there just like this, and it went straight down the highway. So that took a little bit of getting used to. I don't know that I could really do that, but you're right. It is out there. There's no doubt about it. Darren says they aren't thinking. They just see the money right now. Yeah, and I don't know. I wonder that too, because like I said, there are going to be a ton of batteries that are going to have to be dealt with if they push this through the way they are trying to. So anyway, let's get into a magazine and check out another one of the tiny ones tonight. Yep, let's back it up back into the 50s, or we're in the 50s or the 60s. 60s, early 60s this time. From November of 1962, we've got Customs Illustrated, one of the mini magazines. Obviously, late 50s, early 60s, these were extremely common. They are neat. I do like them. The size was pretty cool. They weren't big and bulky. Jason says he doesn't even like letting his wife drive, much less let the car drive itself. So, but the November 62 issue of Customs Illustrated. Cool car on the front. It says fantastic Lincoln three-wheeler, 450 horsepower, 150 miles an hour. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I would want to drive a three-wheeled Lincoln at 150 miles an hour. To me, that doesn't seem extremely stable. Especially, I mean, it just looks too awkward to me to do that kind of speed with. I know some of the streamliners, were set up in that configuration, that ran Bonneville, but that's obviously was a very slender, narrow body designed to handle that versus a full bodied car with a center wheel in the middle of it. Number one says, number one says, plus, how can you pee in the gas tank if you run out of electricity? But he does bring up another good point. You can blow up a balloon and rub it on your hair. Maybe that would give you some static electricity. So, Brandon says the wheel loader, the diesel wheel loaders that they're building are what some of the equipment that they are actually using to help mine the materials for the batteries, which is happening. They're still using a lot of diesel and gas powered stuff to make the electric cars. So. But anyway, the November 62 issue of Customs Illustrated, this magazine was $0.25 back in the day when you bought it off of the stand. Gail from Des Moines is back on with us on Facebook, and he's back out of Facebook jail. So glad you made it back. Glad you were able to join us tonight. BW's Garage had an old 3-wheel Cushman, and it was shady at 20 miles an hour. So I would imagine so. See, big job. You remember Paul Harvey's story about the 2 old ladies that bought a new RV with cruise control? He had said it and went back and ate lunch. Yeah, I remember that old story too. Yeah, said cruise control. They said it and went back into the RV and had lunch, and that didn't work out very well. Cameron, I find my generation does not appreciate the fun of tinkering with engines, but Cameron still plays with old stationary steam engines. Jim says those small magazines fit well in his history books and study hall, so we know what Jim was doing in class. Martin Designs, I don't think the power grid can stand up to a lot of people charging cars at the same time, and that's another thing and that's 100% true. That the grids, and that's what all the the electrical engineers say, the grids can't handle charging them all anyway. But back to Cameron's comment real quickly. He said, Cameron's one of our younger viewers, that he said a lot of his generation doesn't appreciate tinkering with engines. And, a lot of the kids, Cameron, that I know of that, are your age or maybe a few years older, there's still a lot of appreciation for this stuff out there. Maybe not as much as there what has been in the past, but there still is a lot of it. So we're glad that you've joined us, and hopefully you'll continue to hang out with us. We've got a lot of great guys on here. We've got a ton of knowledge on here in this group. So I'm glad you're here with us hanging out, and hopefully you can learn something. So. Or, maybe you can help teach us something too. That's the great part about it. We've got such a great group of people on here that willingly share information back and forth that, Cameron, you can help us understand your generation better to help guide your generation into the hobby, so to speak. So, no one says big job. How long do you have to wait for the rest of the story? The rest of the story is it didn't work out too good because they set the cruise control going down the highway and it kind of crashed. So, like Joe says, imagine the electric security grid getting hacked. That's true. Mike Shook's on with us. Glad you're here. He's here to learn. So, but anyway, let's get into this week's magazine. The copy of Customs Illustrated from November '62. Jim's probably already read this back when he was sneaking these into because they fit in his textbooks instead of paying attention in class. So, so we should hook Cameron up with a project car. Yep, we possibly could do that as well. But let's get in here and let's start looking around a little bit, and let's get into the cover car, the 3-wheeled Vortex. A true car of the future. It incorporates Lincoln parts and some of the newest ideas to be found this side of a Buck Rogers story. Now, we get a very good shot of the front of the car. Now, we can see the car here on the front. We got a real big dead-on nose shot right there. I don't know about you, but I don't think I want to drive that at 150 miles an hour. But hey, maybe that's just me. But still a super cool car, super cool custom. Don't know whatever happened to it. I never had time to do any more research on it. But a neat car. Said Lincoln components include the 1950 wheels that ride on a handmade frame. It has a 52 Lincoln engine. And the back of the car is very distinctively Lincoln. I noticed that. I recognize that immediately. Let's see. We'll take a look at the back of the car. If we look right here on the back of this tail of this thing, definitely 58 to 60 Lincoln. Absolutely no doubt about where that design came from. We've got some interior shots there as well, and also the engine. So neat car. Like I said, no color in the magazine with the exception of the cover, but there's a little better shot of the cover car inside with a few more details. Let's see. Let's catch up with some comments. Ben, love listening to the show on his hour and a half drive to work. So I'm glad you're with us and glad it gives you something to do on your hour and a half drive to work. That doesn't sound like any fun at all. Martin Designs looks like a Schweitzer lawnmower. Brandon says AMC Gremlin. Number one, I used to play Paul Harvey stories on 6:30, probably AM, CHAD when I read the news, and then again on 1260. Yep, I used to listen to Paul Harvey too. I remember that well. Josh, 5455 Oldsmobile. I do not have any of those at all right now. I've still got that 55 coming in. I don't have any idea when he's going to get it dug out. Gail says it'd be a blast until it goes wrong. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to try it running that thing at 150 miles an hour. Let's jump back a couple pages to a tech article on punching louvers. Leave it to louvers. And it talks a little bit about, how to do them, where to do them, and shows them in several different locations on some of these vehicles. Obviously, the hood up here, quarter panel, trunk lid, or that's a hood again, side panels, all different ways to louver things. Let's see. I better let me get caught up on comments here. Steve, don't like the electric cars. He likes the 65 Mustang and 67 Camaro. Yeah. Al says that thing looked like a boat. Yeah, and it does kind of look like a boat. You're actually pretty close on that. BW's garage front tire get to shimmering. Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure. Josh says the rest of the story absolutely with Paul Harvey. L'Eccentric Collier, not on topic, just a regular guy who wants to try a project car, don't want to spend too much, looking for a 61 to 64 Impala. 61 to 64 Impala right now, that's Arab Impala, some of the hottest stuff on the market. Those cars have gone absolutely through the roof over the last couple of years on price. But something to think about if you're watching your budget, but that's the car you like, look for a four-door hardtop. Four-door hardtop, so you can roll all the windows down. You got a clean roof line. So I may look at that if you're watching your budget on looking for a 61 to 64 Impala project. And if you can't swing a two-door, look for a four-door hardtop. And if you worst case scenario, get a sedan, but you still have a ton of fun with them. Let's see. Number one, let's think about this logically. Probably should find a Chevy, probably with a 350 or a Fox body Mustang. Both good candidates for project cars for Cameron too. Martin decides what happened if you hit the brakes and only the front worked. That would be pretty interesting too on that three-wheeler. So that's a good way, something good to think about. Big job. He is and always will be what a great conservative newsman was. He was the one who warned us having about this country a long time ago. Yeah, that speaking of Paul Harvey, and that's true. So yeah, there you go. Electric. Think about that. Maybe on your Impala possible project. Brandon looks like Luke Speedster from Star Wars. Yeah, it kind of does. Number one's got a 64 Pontiac sedan in Canada. If depending on where you're located at, but he's up in Canada. So Kevin says he couldn't imagine going that fast in that car. I absolutely don't think I would be the one to try it. So, but anyway, like I said, some tech articles in this stuff shows some other custom touches for louvers, including the back of the car, wheel covers, and then it actually goes into showing some of the process with step-by-step pictures of the louvering process, the layout, and then how to do it. So the louver press operates hydraulically. Dies are interchangeable varied width. So you could do different things with it and space them out, things like that. And that's right, Gail says, or possibly a Biscayne or even a Bel Air too, if you couldn't swing the Impala. Darren says 58 Impala, the best looking underappreciated car. And that's true. I personally like the 58 Bonneville better, but that's because I've got a 58 Pontiac. So, number one, how long, why can you punch a louver? It actually does not get into any of those details in this because literally the how-to part of it is one page. That's it. That's all you got. So it just says other sizes are available, and I'm sure that just depends on how big you want to make the dies. So. Skip forward a few more pages, and like with all these magazines, we could spend hours on this entire thing because everything in here is cool. So we're picking out a few bits and pieces to check things out. And as always, if we're on Facebook, we've still got some guys on Facebook. I hope it's hanging in there with you. If you want, throw out a share, let your friends know that we're on so that they can join us, and hopefully Facebook will continue to work. The next thing we're going to check out, let's check out another car, Air Force Olds, a 1957 two-door Post, a body style you don't see very often. 57 Olds, a very iconic car, very desirable car, a very pretty car, a very well-adorned, very beautiful design. And, in 57, everybody looks at the 57 Chevy, but in 57, GM pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything. I don't think there's a bad-looking 57 GM product out there. Olds, Buick, Cadillac, Chevy, Pontiac, they were all great-looking cars. And this 57 Olds says, kind of says that. Well, I appreciate you being on here, Leccetric. Thanks for the help, everybody. Big job. Hey, look at what they did to three-wheeler Hondas from accidents. Yep, that's true too. But this is a 57 Olds. This is an November 62 magazine. So this car is a 5-year-old car, but obviously has some custom touches to it, some shaved trim, some custom hubcaps, custom interior. Obviously, we see the 3 carburetors down there, so we know it's got a J2 on it. So, EB Buddy, any opinion on gas price these days? Too high for me. I know that because I got like 30-some cars to pick up. So, yeah, I know it's going to cost me a lot in diesel. You'll get all that stuff picked up. But the 57 Olds, a great-looking car. What kind of caught my eye was it was a little bit – yeah, and that's right, Alan NC. Loves the 3-piece back glass, and that's another iconic point of those cars. If you can see it back here, you can kind of see there's a window there, and then the corner window. The 5788 four-door hardtop that I just got in has the same back glass. You can check out that video if you want to get a little better look at it on that 3-piece back window. But yeah, that was another iconic trait for Buick and Oldsmobile in 57. Number one, 57 was a unifying year for GM. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, that was, like I said, I don't think there's a bad looking 57 out there in the GM line. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. Kevin says big mouth grill, and it is a big mouth grill. There's no doubt about that a bit. So cool car. And just you'll love the 57s. Saw a few 57s, 57 Buicks last week, and really reminded me of how much I really, really love the 57 Buick too. Most calls here from Pennsylvania. It's all right. You're a little late, but that's okay. We're still hanging out and having a good time. Another tech article, or kind of tech article. David W. made it. The latest look in lenses. Custom lenses, custom lights. It's that's a very unique looking taillight in this particular car here. It's actually a 56 Chevy. And it actually gives a step-by-step of the install into this process of how, all the way down to literally cutting out the quarter, molding it in, and then if we get all the way to the end, it shows right here, you can still see the 56 Chevy taillight housing, and it goes through the steps, through the process, all the way you get down to here to where they're actually letting it in. So they change, they put the custom housing in, and they get down here to the end, and they're actually letting it in and finishing the edges out. Big Job just had a Buick on Bad Chad today and his buddy. I didn't see that. Steve, they tried electric car back in the 60s and it didn't go over. Yeah, it's been tried and tried and tried. So they're still trying. We'll see if they get it this time. It's number one. It's got innies instead of outies for taillights. Yep, that's exactly right. And goes all the way through the finishing process to where it shows process again. So kind of a tech article, definitely not a performance-based deal. It was a customizing-based deal, which was pretty cool. And finishing up the taillights leads us right into our next article that we're going to check out on the much modded Merc. Now, this modified Merc, that's right, Jim, the gas neck was in the 56 taillight. That's true. I'm assuming since this was a custom car, they probably relocated that as well. Chris from Ohio's on Facebook. Glad Facebook's still hanging in there a little bit. You guys are still on. Mo's Call says 57 Ford was his favorite. But this much modified Merc, this was a 50 Merc. I believe it said it was a 50. Yep. And it talks about a lot of the custom tricks. Flared wheel cutouts, 56 Lincoln discs, side moldings from a 55 Ford. I think it's got Packard taillights, 55 Plymouth grill, 57 GMC bumper bullets. Has some really cool pictures of the car. Obviously custom paint. A lot of custom touches on this car. Great looking car. Definitely an early 60s custom. Number one, who did those projects or any of the big famous car customizers in that mag? From what I've seen, most of this is all average Joe stuff. I didn't see anything that said Barris or Big Daddy Roth or anything like that on it. This all seems to be like the 57 Ole said, that was an airman, a guy that was stationed in an Air Force base that did that. So I think these are all, average Joe type projects. But this Merc, obviously highly modified, a lot of custom touches, beautiful custom paint. And what really stood out and why it caught my eye and why I went, I thought I'd share this with you was when I started looking at the article, it says it's California custom. Dick, the owner, had already done 4 restyling jobs to his credit when he moved west from Ohio. A body man by trade, he first cleaned up the stock engine, then went to work on the exterior. Parts from 7 different cars contribute to the sleek appearance. Not to neglect the interior, Dick decorated the cockpit and trunk with black and white Naugahyde. He has about $1,400 wrapped up in it. So that's what caught my eye. It talks about all the customization, all the cleanup, the custom interior. And if you can see it down there, he has $1,400 in that car. Now, obviously today, peanuts. $1,400 back in 62, you got to remember this guy was probably making 50, 60 cents an hour. So $1,400 was a high dollar custom at the time. It's just funny to put it into perspective of today's dollars and today's world that he had $1,400 in that custom. So let's flip up here a few more pages and check out a couple of more things. There was actually an article on, that's right, Darren, you can hardly buy wheels for $1,400 these days. So paint mixing the professional way. Candy and pearlescent finishes are musts for all-out customs. Here's how you can obtain them. And I actually talked about mixing paint. What I thought was kind of interesting, they use Martin Senor paint, obviously still carried by Napa today. That brand is still in business and still sold at Napa stores nationwide. So thought that was kind of interesting that, they were using Martin, just regular off-the-shelf Martin Senor paints for all these custom mixes and custom blends. So next thing we're going to catch in here, this I thought was kind of cool. This is called the Custom Clinic. This was actually readers who wrote in with questions about customizing cars. And you got to remember, you didn't have Facebook, you didn't have digital media. You can't go to some customs group on Facebook and type in, what do you think's cool? People sent these letters, physically wrote them out, put them in an envelope, mailed them to these magazines, and they addressed some of them in the custom clinic. Buick grill. What grill would be best in a 57 Buick Special? Would a 55 Chevy fit? Answer. The Chevy grill is too narrow, but two of them could be butted together would fit. But so many restylers admire and even switch to the 57 Buick grill. I can't see why you'd want to get rid of it. It's one of the cleanest in the business. Once you get rid of that center emblem, for a truly custom appearance, keep the stock grill and French in the shell. So there again, strictly opinions, but but they are true. A lot of people use a 57 Buick grill as a custom grill. The next question, could you tell me what you think of a 51 Mercury? Is it good customizing material, and do you have any ideas? They would be most appreciated. Obviously, today's world, the 49 to 51 is one of the most iconic customs out there, one of the most commonly used, canvases for it. Back in 1962, it was, people were still wondering, but you got to remember, you're talking about a car that's 10 years old. So essentially, people are asking, is my 2011 Malibu good for customizing? So when you put it into that kind of perspective, I guess it does kind of make sense. But there again, we're looking back with 2020 hindsight, which is what makes this so much fun and so great, that questions that we see today or comments that we see in these today that just almost are a no-brainer. Really, it's neat to see that people actually still thought so vaguely of it. Really, they weren't sure about where the future was, or is this a good candidate? Today we know they are. So there's more customs questions. I'd like to restyle my 57 Plymouth. What grill would you recommend? And what can be done with headlights and taillights? And their suggestion were, use 58 Plymouth quad headlamps, taillights from a 57 Chrysler. It says a neat and easy trick would be to mount chrome cabinet handles vertically and close together all across the grill cavity. And you think cabinet handles? Yeah, that was a very common trick back in the day. In fact, there was another section of this magazine that we actually didn't get into, and I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a picture of a 58 Pontiac, and that's exactly what they did. I'll try to hold it up here. You see this 58 Pontiac? That is the stock grill with round knobs, basically cabinet drawer pulls, round cabinet drawer pulls bolted throughout and across the entire grill. So if extremely common practice, but there again, these were people literally asking questions, just like Cameron being on here asking questions. We're all here to learn. This is how they did it back in the day. They didn't have a chat. We couldn't jump on Sunday night and say, hey guys, what do you think about this project? What do you think about that? Just like with our friend with the Impala. So, nobody knows. Let's see. Big job. Some crazy person in Waukesha, Wisconsin just ran into the Christmas parade. Spectators this evening. Say a prayer for the injured people. So somebody must have, I don't know if a vehicle in the parade or somebody drove through a roadblock or something. Somebody apparently they hit some of the spectators in the parade. So yeah, we definitely want to keep those people in our prayers and think about those people. That sounds terrible. Number one said he just saw it on CNN as well. So don't know for sure what happened, if they went through barricades or what, but so anyway, there again, the 1962 version of our Sunday night chat for ideas and on projects and builds. How about we check out some ads? The ads in this magazine were primarily towards the back. They left pretty much meat in the front and kept most of the ads to the back. David W. Legs, eggs for chrome center caps. Never seen that one, but it would make sense. Lee had a 77 Dodge van that someone mounted cabinet pulls to the taillight lenses that gave it a great look. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't think about that, but back in the early 60s, that was extremely common. But as we get into the ads, obviously in number one, remembers the legs, eggs for center caps too. Most call a van drove into the school band. Wow, I'm not sure how that happened, but wonder if something, if it was a van that was in the parade or what happened. But yeah, that's not good if they hit the band. But obviously, we get into ads in this era, and we've always got our J.C. Whitney ad. J.C. Whitney, obviously the customer performance thing of that era. It was the Jags and the Summit and the Speedway and everything all rolled into one. But buy with confidence from J.C. Whitney, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back, right across the top. Always some cool, interesting things in the J.C. Whitney ad for your custom project, or even like here, car club jackets, electroplating kit, white rubber sidewalls, the good old porta walls, candy apple spray paint, all kinds of cool stuff in the J.C. Whitney ad, including the wild woodpecker decal. Nope, Kevin, I actually don't have any turkey hunt. We'll have to do something from the late 70s next week to get some turkey in next week. That's a good point, Kevin. So does the mag have the retailers list? I don't remember seeing a list of retailers. I'll keep my eyes peeled as we're flipping through the ads. But there was not actually, it really probably doesn't need one because almost all the ads in here are J.C. Whitney. I'm almost wondering if J.C. Whitney didn't actually print this magazine so they could put ads in it, because most of the ads in here were J.C. Whitney, including this next ad that we're going to check out. Biggest values in stick shift history. J.C. Whitney's straight line, lightning fast floor shift conversion kit. So another full page ad for J.C. Whitney on a floor shift conversion kit. And then, of course, the subscription part was in here. If you wanted to subscribe and get your own subscription to Customs Illustrated, this was actually a special time, special offer, repeated for a limited time only. $1 brings you 6 issues of Customs Illustrated. Full page ad where you could get your own subscription. So if it was 6 issues in a year, saved you 50 cents versus buying it off the newsstand at a quarter, and you can subscribe to Customs Illustrated. Another cool ad that we saw in here, the Autorama Car Show in Teaneck, New Jersey for September 19th through the 22nd. Thought that was kind of cool, the way they promoted some of these big shows. There again, you had to be thinking well ahead of time to get the word out to promote this stuff. Now, one ad that actually was not J.C. Whitney was Almquist Engineering, which we've heard about Almquist in here before, and you'll notice that the bottom of this ad is actually cut off. Number one says it just jumped from 1 to multiple fatalities. Wow, that's awful. So hopefully, definitely keep all those people in your thoughts and prayers. That's a terrible deal. We've got the Almquist Engineering ad, and they actually cut it off at the bottom. So pretty much J.C. Whitney and Almquist pretty much took care of most of the advertising in this magazine. Chrome lake pipes, dual compound carburation, all kinds of cool stuff available from Almquist. Suspect in custody, so apparent whatever happened, they got who did it, so that's good. Sam made it. Glad Sam's here. But you see the bottom of this, they cut this off, and I don't know if you guys have noticed as we've gone through the magazine, this magazine was actually cut and stapled incorrectly. If we look here at the top, we can see how the cover is low on the body of the magazine. We can see how they cut the bottom of the Almquist ad off. And we'll flip right to the middle of it. and we can see where the staples are at in the middle and how they're not exactly centered. Alan NC threw us out a super chat. Awesome. I super appreciate that. The super chats are awesome, guys. The fact that you think enough of what we're doing here to help support it financially is great. I can't say thanks enough. Al's been really good about the super chats, and anybody else that feels compelled to throw them up there, I sure appreciate it. And that you actually do think highly enough of what we're doing to do that. So, let's see. BW's Garage has a red Ford Escape. Maybe that was the accident at the parade. Number one, the bigger show promoters printed those mags or similar ones to promote shows, and that's true too. Number one, yeah, I remember that. Sam, how's the square body stockpile coming along? I haven't brought any in the last few weeks, so I think I've still got a few more on that, one or two more on that farmstead to get. So, Alan NC, help my Scorpion intake on 55 handyman leaks. Please put a vintage intake on eBay. Don't have any of those. I do know that. So, Jeff just threw up a post on Facebook. There is a swap meet in Central Texas. December 11th and 12th, Bell County Expo Center. So, if you're down in Texas, there is a swap meet coming up down there. So be sure to check that out. So let's catch a few classified ads, and then let's get to some trivia and talk about the raffle and talk about some new inventory. The Customs Exchange, they call it Customs Exchange. That's what their classified ads were. Had a cool little cartoon characters up here for the Customs Exchange. Number one, ever seen a Ford Crossboss intake? I think I've seen pictures of them before. I'm not real familiar with them. But in the classifieds this month, some pretty amazing stuff. 54 Corvette, 60 Pontiac powered, body fair, new paint, 4-speed Hydra stick, needs more carburation to really go, but will move even if spoken to gently. Two tops. Need $1,350 as is. Sam, can't find a short bed rolling chassis for the life of me. Now, there's some of them out there. It's just hard to find one that's not under a truck. That's probably the toughest part about it. Let's see. What else did we have in here that was super cool to check out? 1934 Ford Victoria. Stock now, but would make nice custom. Best offer over $500. Full race 58 Olds Mill. Only run twice, $1,400 value, sell for $700. Fresh, ready to go 58 Olds motor for $700. Let's see. Sell 48 Nash Ambassador convertible. A real classic in sound condition, needs paint, top, and upholstery. $125. So a lot of really neat stuff in here. A lot of wanted ads. Of course, people looking for 40 Ford coupes and any coupe body. Here's a wanted ad. 40 or earlier coupe in fair shape. Engine unimportant. We'll pay $50. So they're willing to give up to $50 a piece for coupe bodies. So wanted 34 to 36 or 40 Ford two-door. Must be good condition, modified or stock. We'll pay up to $225. I'm sure most of us would pay up to $225 for any 34, 36, or 40 Ford two-door. Here's another sell ad. 1958 Jaguar XK150 Coupe, automatic, wire wheels, radio, good condition, $2,000 or best offer. So number one stepping up, he's going to go to $250. So, but there again, that's what's cool. That's what's fun about these is going back, looking back in time, taking a snapshot of November of 1962 of our hobby, what was going on in our world, and looking back in time, checking it out, and then comparing it to today, and it's just crazy, but it is still neat. So Martin says he paid $300 for his 48, so it sounds like he got a good deal on that. But anyway, that's what we've got for the Customs Illustrated of November 1962. Oh, I forgot the back cover. I almost forgot the back cover while I was sitting there staring at it. I had it on the ads. I spaced it off. Earn big money. Learn auto mechanics at home in your spare time. You can get a free book, fax sent from the professional training to auto mechanics and diesel. Cool cartoon character on the back. That's what really caught my eye about it. I just forgot to mention. I flipped right past it, closed it back up, and didn't even think about showing you the back page ad to earn big money, to learn auto mechanics at home in your spare time. So obviously a little bit different world today with the dozens of computers on new cars and what you've got to know to work on that stuff and use the scan tools and the machines and the equipment and what it takes. So, but here you can just send off for a book and teach yourself at home. So anyway, that's what we've got for the Customs Illustrated of November 1962. Obviously, the only color is on the cover, but still a really cool magazine with a lot of cool stuff. And it's just fun going back with 20/20 hindsight and looking at this stuff in today's world. So who's ready for some trivia? Let's talk about the raffle, and then we'll talk about some new inventory. Tonight's raffle, another can from our friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry. This is another one of the Gold Phillips cans. We've given a few of these away as well. There were several of them in the tote of cans that Mike donated to us. And so we have given some of these away, but these are brand new. They're great cans. They are a cardboard can, but it is in great condition. It is full. It's brand new. We've got Mike's card on the bottom of it. Be sure to check him out, autoartistry.com, or check him out, Auto Artistry, on Facebook. They do some killer builds over there. They built some great stuff. He did a complete build for my dad, built an entire car for my dad. He put my cab over, my daughter's cab over, 44 cab over together. So be sure to check out what he's got going on. And we're going to send this can out to somebody. Like I said, it is brand new, has not been punched, drained on the bottom, Trop Arctic on the back with another Phillips logo. So cool piece. Thanks to Mike for supplying us with a big tub of cans that we can donate and give away to you guys. So anyway, in this week's video, I shot some video, and I had posted another video from my buddy's yard where I've been doing some walk-arounds, thousands of cars in there. Great place. Like I said, he's not open to the public. He's open for a while if he feels like it that day. He's not open that day if he doesn't feel like it. Fortunately, I know him pretty well. I've known him for a lot of years, and he treats me pretty well and lets me in when I get through that area, since I get through there a handful of times a year. And he's been gracious enough to let me do some videos as well to share it with you guys. And like I said on the videos, if you do see something in there that you need, just let me know, and I will start a list of stuff to look at next time I get by his place. But for the Phillips 66 can tonight, when I was in that video walking around his yard, there was a Mopar wagon in there. What was that Mopar wagon that was in that video? I'll keep an eye on both formats for the answer, watching Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Who's ever with the correct answer that I see first is going to be the winner. And some stuff starting to come in, but nothing that's right as of yet. We'll keep an eye on those to see who we're going to send the can to about the Mopar wagon as I grab the truck for the raffle. Obviously, here's our buddy L that we're giving away this month. Beautiful truck. Absolutely beautiful truck. You guys voted on this. There we go. Old School got it. It was a Dodge Aspen. That's correct, Old School. It was an old Dodge Aspen that, like we talked about in the video, you just don't see Aspens or Valaris anymore. Those were some of the cars that were just completely, overlooked, shunned. I think they're cool. They made some, the Roadrunners out of them and things like that. There's some RTs. I think I do still have your shipping info, Old School. I'll double check that and see it, but I think I still do. they made some cool stuff. They weren't fast. They tried. I mean, so I think you can still get a 360 in some of them. They had bucket seats in some of them. They had cool stripe packages in some of them. Ground effects kits on some of them on the Volare Roadrunners. But they just, I don't think they were that terrible of a car, but they were definitely overlooked over the years, and nobody saved them. And now they're kind of hard to find and kind of cool to see one. So that's why it stood out to me. And that's what, I drain all the cans old school. So what are you doing, kitty cat? We got some help up here tonight. So one of the shop cats just decided to join us. But anyway, that's why it stood out to me, because they are so different. But I'll get that one drained to get it shipped out to you. But anyway, back to the raffle. Since we got ourselves a winner, the Buddy L, great truck. If you remember, we did a Toy Tuesday with this Buddy L as well. Yeah, with this Buddy L as well, some Tonkas. I let you guys vote at the beginning of this month on which truck was going to be this month's giveaway. The Buddy L was voted in. This is it. Beautiful truck. Grill guard is even still intact on this thing and not busted up. Mirror is missing. Does have great Buddy L decals on both sides. Does have an active front suspension. The bed on this thing is even beautiful. Bottom side looks brand new. Beautiful truck. If you have not gotten your chances for the raffle, be sure to get in. I'll go through who I've got right now. If we can get the cat to move. This is who I've got as of right now. Big Job says the Buddy L is awesome. Yeah. Hit or Miss says, would it work for his actual truck? Because his real truck just broke down. I don't think you could haul too much in it, but I don't know. It looks cool. Looks great on the shelf. I do know that, but I don't know how much work it could get done. Al DeLudia is in. Brian Winters, BW, is in. Lee Carr is in. Darren is in. Darren Ehrlich. Ronald Walensky, Big Job, is in. Old School is in. And Lee Carr is in again. So Lee actually jumped in twice because he apparently decided he wasn't in deep enough the first time. So he must really like it too. So number one says Polara always seemed like a winter car to me. So Kevin, do you know what the L stood for? No, I actually do not know what the L and Buddy L stood for. Martin says he's got to bail off. We're glad you made it for a while tonight. But no, I don't know what the L actually stood for. So I know they were cool toys. And I do like them, but I don't know what it stood for. So if I didn't read your name and you thought you had paid, be sure to get a hold of me this week. We'll probably we'll do it in 2 weeks. We'll do it on December 5th is when we'll do it. So we'll do it in 2 weeks. So that way everybody's got a little bit of time still. If you want to mail it, go ahead and throw it in the mail, or you can do PayPal. Big Job's got about 250 Tonkas and about 50 of other brands. So they're great. I mean, I love this stuff. I love these toys. I actually was going through some toys last night, and number one says M&F will determine if I'm in the raffle or BW is. Oh, Monday Night Football probably. So Old School is definitely a toy fan. Old School usually keeps us updated with his toys as well. But I was going through stuff last night, actually working on stuff, getting ready for Toy Tuesday, because I told you guys I'm going to start throwing some stuff up that's for sale. Even some toys that I really didn't think I wanted to keep. Maybe I just have the trailer and don't have a complete truck and tractor and trailer assembly. Maybe it's just a toy that I really wasn't that excited about. Still don't know I want to sell them, but we're going to do some stuff on Toy Tuesday that's going to be for sale. So, so I was working on some of that last night, so we'll have some stuff for that too. So anyway, if you're not in, it's a buck a chance. You send me $5. Your name goes into the big Buick oil can 5 times, $10, 10 times, $20, 20 times for the drawing. Everybody's name that I just read off of that packet is in there as of right now. All those, that pile down there in the bottom corner is everybody that I just read off. Those are names have already been printed, cut out, and they're down there ready to go for the drawing. Number one, any of the VW Beetles Dune Buggies toys. Cameron, she's hunting down some Dinky toys. I think I've got some Dinky stuff, so I'd have to look and see. I've got so many toys, it's hard to keep track of it all, but anyway, make sure you get your chances for the Buddy L. The information is in the post, in the text part of this video, both on Facebook and YouTube. You go back in, look at it, and click on it. And the PayPal information is there where you can PayPal me. Just make sure you put a note on there that is for the Buddy L raffle, so I know it's not somebody paying me for parts. Or same thing, you can throw it in the mail. Just put a note in there that it's in for the raffle, and I will get you in. So let's see. Martin Designs need a trunk hinge and driver door lower hinge. You have to give me a call tomorrow so I can get you on my list and get all the details, because I don't remember what body style your car is or anything like that. So, yeah, just give me a shout and I can get you on my list there. Hit or miss sub. He's one of our new subs. Great. Glad you're there. Lots of stuff popping up. I know I'm missing some of this stuff. Jason stood for Lundahl. They originally made automotive fenders. Okay. Well, that clarifies that. It was Lundahl, Lundahl. So that was something I was not aware of. I just knew Buddy L and never actually thought any further than that. So if you're on Facebook with us still, haven't had any comments pop up there in a while. So if you are feeding, it's not getting to me. What's a good time to call? 8 to 8 Central Time. 8 a.m. I usually get the shop a little before 7, but I'm usually kind of trying to get my day set up and get organized. That's right. Never Old School says, who's Buddy? I don't know. Maybe they just still thought it sounded friendly. I don't know. So 8 to 8 Central Time. I get the shop a little before 7, but I'm getting my day set up. I'm checking everything on the computer, getting ready to roll. If you call me between 8 and 8, and I miss you, just leave me a quick message, because that means I'm on the phone with somebody else. If you call me after 8 o'clock at night, I guess that just means you want to pay double. I don't know. So, let's see. Yeah, we've still got people on Facebook. Glad you're here. Randy, passenger front fender for a 53 Bel Air. I should have something there. If you want to give me a call on that as well tomorrow, I'll get you on my list. So be sure to get in. I hate giving this thing away because it's such a beautiful piece, but I know whoever gets it is going to enjoy it. It's going to be a great addition to their collection. New inventory. I picked up one car this week. Obviously, I had to be here the day they did the fiber install, trying to get a lot of stuff done for winter, trying to get a bunch of parts cleaned up and processed for winter. Stuff that I put on eBay, every week. I try to get a huge pile of that done for the winter. I get it cleaned up now, pulled off, cleaned up, and get a big, huge pile of it in the shop. So all winter, I just keep pulling out of that pile throughout the winter time. So trying to get a lot of that done, trying to get, things picked up that need to be picked up around the yard, trying to get picked up around the shop, trying to get regrouped, and just being ready for winter. That's right, Old School. I am on fiber now. We did get it done. We talked about that first thing right out of the gate today. So we are on fiber. Hopefully it's feeding better for you guys. I'm still getting error messages on Facebook. They told me I do need to get a new router to fully maximize the fiber, but they're telling me I went from like 15 meg to 100 meg already and could go up to close to 200 meg with a new router. So I'm going to get a router this week and try to get this thing cranked up, and maybe that'll help Facebook. I don't know. Classic Ride Society is here checking in from Tampa, Florida. The Moultrie swap meet was great. Next up, Daytona Turkey Rod Run swap meet. So, Teddy Ruxpin. Nope, I don't have any Teddy Ruxpin toys. So, yep, I'm gonna get a new router, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Number one says, "Careful, don't get too much fiber." Martin Designs, how much for some seats? There again, just depends on what seats you want. I mean, every seat's different. Believe it or not, I get calls for seats constantly. So many people took original seats out and replaced them with different stuff that I get calls for seats almost every day. So But anyway, since this week got kind of crazy with the fiber install, trying to get things tied up for winter, I didn't have time to haul a lot of cars. I did go get one this week that I'll get a video on here shortly. That is kind of interesting. Like we've talked about, I'm trying to think of what was unique now in the 80s and the 90s and things like that. What's going to be worth picking up? This one actually came on a bulk deal with out of the big farmstead deal. Actually, this came from that big farmstead load. Fred Lundahl was the owner of Buddy L. So Fred Lundahl was the guy's name on the Buddy L's, the guy that owned the company. But the guy that I bought all that stuff from, all those pickups and stuff, he's a big Lincoln fan, and I did end up with some Lincolns on there. If you caught the suicides that on the videos that I've got coming in, but another Lincoln that I picked up another Lincoln this week off of that deal. Brandon, 48 Chevy Fleetmaster wheels. What is out there that is narrow enough to not rub the frame? That I don't know, because that is a pretty narrow wheel. So that I don't know a lot about, and you can play with your offset some as well on that to help compensate for some of that. But the car I picked up this week, I knew what it was, but it had kind of a surprise, and I'll show you that surprise when we do the video. But it's a 1984 Lincoln Mark 7, and there was so much volume on that deal that I didn't look over every single piece when we did the deal, and I'm learning as I'm starting to drag this stuff in. See, number one, Hot Rod Lincoln met engine, not car. Yep, that's right, because it was a Lincoln engine in a Model A body. And that's right, old school. We did talk about that parade accident, so we touched on that a little bit earlier. So thoughts and prayers out to those people. What makes this 84 Mark 7 weird? The hood hinges were bent. The hood was up in the back because the hinges got bent, down in the front, up in the back. So get the car loaded and getting ready to throw a strap on the hood, and I looked under the edge of the hood, and this thing's got a turbo diesel in it, in an 84 Mark 7, and it's a diesel. So I haven't even opened the hood yet. Modern Designs, they've got an 88 Lincoln Mark, which I think is the same body. But so this was kind of cool. The thing is, it's a freaking diesel Mark 7. No idea they made a diesel Mark 7. But by the time I got back that day, it was getting late. It was already 4:30, 4:45. By the time I got back to the yard, I literally just threw a strap on it, slid it off the trailer, and took off. Haven't looked it over. But we're going to get a video on that one, because that's got to be interesting. I thought that was kind of, wow, that was weird. That kind of caught me off guard. So that Big Job even says that's wild. Yeah, so it surprised the heck out of me. I didn't know they put diesels in Mark 7s, but apparently they did. And I've got one now. So maybe we'll all learn a little bit about it. Anyway, what's coming up for the videos this week? I'll have another one from my buddy's yard. Some more cool stuff there. And like I said, on all those videos, you never know what's coming up on the next one of those. 3,000 or 4,000 cars, and absolutely no rhyme or reason to where anything is sitting. So we walk around 8 or 10 cars, and it can literally be anything, because that's just literally, they were dropped wherever they were dropped when they came in, and he's been there since the early 60s. So we'll get another video from there. And like I said, be sure to watch it, and watch it close, because you never know what's going to pop up. Really great 72 F100 that I picked up a couple weeks ago. Got a video coming on that. Long bed 2-wheel drive, but a really, really solid truck, custom sport or something like that. It's got a lot of side chrome on it and things like that. Need my number, 620-786-4428. That should be in the text as well after we get done. You could, you can go back after we get in and click on the video, and that number should be in the text. So, Scott, BMW provided the diesel motor for the Lincoln. That's what he thinks. So we'll figure that out, hopefully. But thanks for the info, Scott. I'll look and see if there's any BMW markings on that when I get the hood open, and see if we can narrow that down any. But yeah, I had no clue they even did it. So let's see what else we got popping up. But yeah, the phone number should be on the post, or 620-786-4428. Cameron would like to see a 36 Pontiac. I do not have any 36 Pontiacs. The earliest I go on Pontiac is 41 right now, as far as what I've got in the yard. Classic Ride Society has a junkyard find video of an 84 Continental with a turbo diesel, supposed to be pretty rare, and it was crushed. Well, that'll be great. Maybe we can try to figure. I'll get the video done on this one, Classic Ride Society, and maybe we can compare and contrast to your video. So that just shocked me when Mark 7. I mean, they were a very unique body style. I think it's one of those cars that are, at some point people will probably look back and say, hey, those were pretty cool. And they may have some following eventually. Or number one just says crush it again. So I'm not going to crush this Mark 7. I think it's kind of cool. Old School's got to bail off and watch hockey. So glad you made it tonight. Big job. F100s are great and really have started climbing in price. Yeah, and this one's a super, super solid truck. So it's a great video that we're going to catch. I probably won't. I'll get that one done. Oh, and the 73 Love. We'll get the 73 Love video up this week as well. And probably won't get the Mark 7 up till the following week. But like I said, just caught me completely off guard. But hey, we've already learned something about it. Scott thinks it's a BMW motor, so I'm going to look for any BMW markings. Classic Ride Society's got a video on a Continental that was turbo diesel. So we've got some information there. So maybe we can do a little comparing and contrasting. Classic Ride says that it was a 4-door, and this is obviously a 2-door Mark 7. The Mark 7 was really a unique car. I thought it was a pretty good design. I thought they were a pretty good looking luxury coupe. And I think that there's eventually going to be somewhat of a following for that car. So there again, glad to add it to the collection. I'm going to put it in the row. I don't plan on crushing it, so it'll be around for when people need bits and pieces off of them. BW Garages, have a great week. See us on Toy Tuesday. And which brings us to Toy Tuesday. We'll do Toy Tuesday live again. We will bust open the Carter carburetor display from Vic that I just bought from him. American Skull made it again tonight. Glad you made it back again this week. And a few more signs that I've still got laying around that we haven't gotten to yet. Plus, we're going to do some stuff that's going to be for sale. So if you guys want to buy some toys or something, I'll probably just have some toys. I don't know if I'll do any oil cans. I got to start going through this stuff as I'm sorting in this winter as we start sorting. That's right, Classic Ride Society. The Mark 7 LSC was a really good looking car. I do remember those as well. But I'll start mixing some toys in that I'm going to sell, some oil cans that I'll probably sell, things like that. That's all right, American Skull. At least you made it for a while. So we do it every week. So glad you made it for at least part of the chat. So we'll mix in some toys and things like that that are going to be for sale. If you want, you'll be able to, we'll figure out a deal. I'll set some stuff out and price it. If you want it, just let me know and I can sure ship it out to you. So anyway, that's getting pretty much close to being wrapped up for what I've got for tonight. Any other questions and comments, be sure to throw them up there. Bill, do you know that the Loves were supposed to be in 72? They were the first S10 pickups before the S10s. Yeah, I knew that, and I believe they were Isuzus because I think this one still has the Isuzu tag on it. So we'll check that out. Complete, solid little Love, something there again overlooked for years and kind of shunned, but they are kind of getting a following now. Martin, 140 you posted 7879 blue. It's not that I've find the title. I've still got the truck, but I've got to go through the process with the state to get the title, and I have not done yet. I've got a whole list of cars I need to get a bunch of title work done on, and that is on that list that I need to get on. So how do I sell dog dishes? Just usually individually, or I can sell them by the set if I've got a full set of them. But Brandon had a Love, and it was orange. Well, hey, Brandon, so's this one. So you'll definitely want to check that video out. Big Job says, have a safe week. Thank Father Chad for the Church of Members of Iron and Oil. That's right. The Autumn had bow ties on the grills on the Loves as well. So thanks, Big Job. Appreciate that. I just got to get the county appraiser to recognize my shops as churches. That's what I need to do. So, but maybe you guys keep putting that up there. I'll print that off and see if that does any good with the county appraiser that my shops are churches of iron and oil. But Cameron says, see you. Well, glad you made it. Glad you're hanging out. American Skull on eBay or Facebook. I might buy some. I've got thousands and thousands of hubcaps American Skull, so it just depends on what you're looking for. I don't have a ton of them on eBay. I've got some on eBay. but I have thousands of them that aren't posted anywhere. I just have them in inventory. So if there's something specific you're looking for, give me a shout, and I can check and see if I've got them. Jason says, good night, everybody. Same with Bill and Kevin. And like I said, that's about all I've got. I'll keep an eye out for a few more comments from everybody. And yeah, big jobs he's pulling for me. So Marge says, can't find eBay. eBay page is just very simply Nobody Else's Auto, all one word, all lowercase. Nobody Else's Auto is the eBay store. So you can find it there. Nobody Else's Auto on Facebook as well. And you can check out what's going on there and keep up with their new inventory is posted to YouTube first on a video. That's where it's going to go first. That's the best way for everybody to keep up. Handsome Metal. How do you identify authentic versus fake and vintage signs? Basically, a lot of that is experience. I've actually got a video up from a couple years ago where we talked about some of that. You might want to go back and check that video out. It is on YouTube, and that's what we talk about is some of the things that I actually look for on how to spot them. Some of them are getting pretty good, but you watch for the fonts, you watch for where the damage is at. But we talk a lot about that on that video on signs. And I can't remember exactly how it's titled, Handsome Metal. But be sure to go back and check that out. If you can't find it, you can always give me a call or jump back on next week, and we'll see if we can figure it out. But yeah, check that video out. That's a few ideas that I use. Classic Garage decided just checked on his video, and in the comments they were saying that was a BMW engine that Lincoln used. So Scott would be correct with that as well. Kevin, are you doing another walk around soon? Possibly. We did one a month or two ago. If you guys are ready for it, we can absolutely try to squeeze another walk around in, maybe before it gets too nasty for winter. But that's kind of up to you guys. But yeah, we can absolutely do another walk around maybe next weekend, or maybe if you want to do one Thanksgiving Day. If you're all sitting around Thanksgiving Day, maybe we can do one. I don't have any idea. Whatever works for you guys, we can sure try to squeeze another walk around in. Mary Skull says, I'll think of some brands and models. Okay, sounds good. Big Jobs, he'll sign the petition for me. Thanks. Appreciate that. Dan says, another great one. Thanks. American Skull, how much do you think Mustang dog dishes would be, just to get an idea? Dog dish caps, they're just like anything else. Dinged up decorative pieces can be $10, and some of them are, I've got some small caps that I've paid $200 for. It just varies that much. So just depends on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. If you need them for decorator pieces, if you need them for vehicles, things like that. So. But anyway, that's what we've got. We'll try to work another walk around in. If you guys want another walk around, I'll try to get something done again before winter and try to work some of that in as well. That's what I've got. I'll keep an eye out on comments for just a few more seconds here. If anybody else has anything else they need to throw up. Facebook hasn't had anything fed in a little while. So in case something was there, maybe hung up there. But that's what I've got. As always, thanks for coming back. I appreciate your guys' support. The super chats are awesome. The shares are awesome. The likes are awesome. That you guys are always here. Your participation is what makes this. All the viewers that hang out here, your knowledge, just like the BMW engine thing on the Lincolns. There's so much to learn here, and so much to learn from all of you guys being on here and sharing your knowledge with me and the other viewers, and helping out our younger viewers like Cameron that are hanging out. So I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. I'll probably stop long enough to eat, but I'll be working most of the day anyway. I want to get stuff done before winter. I'm not a big fan of the cold, so the more I can get done now, the better off I'm going to be. I just don't like working in the cold unless I have to, because when I get cold, you get your toes get cold, your fingers get cold, you're just cold till you go somewhere to warm up. So that's what I'm going to be pushing for. I hope everybody has a great week. Have a great Thanksgiving. We will see you Tuesday night live for Toy Tuesday. We'll check out the Carter carburetor cabinet from Vic. We will check out some signs, and we will possibly be shipping out some toys to some of you guys if there's anything you want to buy. So, and we're going to give this one away in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you swinging by. I appreciate you taking this kind of time out of your evening to hang out with me every Sunday and all the rest of us, and making this chat what it is, because that is what is making it what it is all of your guys' involvement and participation and support. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll see you live Tuesday night. Be sure to check out the other videos. As always, if you got any questions about vehicles or parts, just give me a call. Get your raffle tickets in for the Buddy L truck. If you want a Nobody t-shirt, you can always get those as well. That information's on the sheet. I've always had this side up, so I flipped it this week to see the front where it just says Nobody. So got those as well. Thanks for being here. Give you a shout if you need any parts or pieces or looking for a project. We'll see you Tuesday night live. Be sure to check out the other videos, and definitely be back next Sunday night, 7 o'clock for Sunday night live chat. Thanks for being here, everybody.